Hello, BookTube. I have a few new arrivals for you, books that were opened off camera, but that are either new or forthcoming. I like to do this. I like to show you as many of these things as I can, just so that you know they're out there, you know they're coming. We can go through a little bit of them together. Maybe that will help you to decide whether or not you want to pre-order one of these things, or request them at your library, or look for them at your bookstore, or whatnot. I always like this because a lot of times the books are more interesting to you than they are to me. So I haven't really examined what we have here. We'll go through them together. The first one is for March of 2022, and it is Animal Bodies: On Death, Desire, and Other Difficulties by Suzanne Roberts. This is from the good folks at the University of Nebraska Press. No sheet for it, but let's see what we have here. How do we reckon with our losses? In Animal Bodies, the author explores the link between death and desire and what it means to accept our own animal natures, the parts we most often hide, deny, or consider only with shame, our taboo desires and our grief. In landscapes as diverse as Salamanca's cobbled streets, the Mekong River's floating markets, Fire Island's windswept beaches, Nashville's honky-tonks, and the Sierra Nevada's snowy slopes, the author interrogates her memory and tries to make sense of her own private losses, as well as more public losses, including a mass shooting in her hometown and environmental devastation in the Amazon rainforest. Witty lyricism, insight, honesty, and dark humor, exhibiting all of those, these essays illuminate the sometimes terrible beauty of what it means to be human. Okay, it sounds pretty vague, but it'd be a collection of modern essays for those of you who are wondering about maybe whether or not you want to give it a try. How are we going to do the ergonomics here? Okay, what is this next one? This next one is a novel. Comes out in April. And it is called Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I don't have the cover art here, oddly. The bound galley here has a reprinted letter from a publicist, but it doesn't have the actual cover art. So what have we got? Let's see if we can find a description of this thing. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. But it's the early 1960s, and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality, except for one man, Calvin Evans, a lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize-nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 6. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, quote, combine 1 tablespoon of acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy, because, as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Laugh-out-loud funny, shrewdly observant, and studded with dazzling cast of supporting characters, Lesson in Chemistry is as original and vibrant as its protagonist. Okay, is this the author's first book? Yes, it is. This is the author's first book. Bonnie Garmus is a copywriter and creative director who has worked widely in the fields of technology, medicine, and education. She's an open water swimmer, a rower, and a mother of 2 pretty amazing daughters. Born in California and most recently from Seattle, she currently lives in London with her husband and her dog, 99. The dog's name is 99. Okay, great. Well, that sounds fantastic. I don't know. I'm not sure why there's a publicist letter on the front here. What have we got for the cover here? Dear readers, I bet there's not a woman in America who can't relate to Elizabeth Zott. Okay, so did you mean dear female readers? If you've ever been underestimated, talked over, asked to sit back down, or criticized for your pesky persistence, you'll know what Elizabeth is going through. But you haven't had any of that happen to you because it isn't the 1960s, right? Because well over half a century has passed since then. The world has changed completely. What was that again? Criticized for your pesky persistence? So what? Does the person who wrote this pub sheet think that in modern American workplaces, if a woman stands up to give her opinion, the men just say, "Oh, sit down, hon. Enough of your pesky persistence." That is so delusional. I don't even know what to say about it. Not only would all those men be instantly fired and their houses firebombed, but the business would go out of business or go straight into the receivership of the woman who was told that. These things don't have. It's like a friend of mine wrote a long time ago. There's nothing more dangerous to grievance than progress. That's absurd. So yeah, I'm thinking not. I'm thinking that a lot of women who won't be able to relate to the struggles that Elizabeth Zott went through in the 1960s. Elizabeth Zott is a scientist in the early 1960s and a woman with a mind of her own. When she's fired from her research position for being unwed and pregnant, but really for being a woman with a mind of her own. Really? Okay. She's okay. All right. She takes a new job as the host of a daytime cooking show at a local TV station. And there, history is made. Because cooking is chemistry, and chemistry is change. And when she brings this message to the housewives of America, she ignites a revolution. Okay, well, I could have done without that, but the actual description of the book sounds endearing, makes it sound endearing. But that comes out in April, so if it sounds endearing to you, put it on your long-term list. Then this next one is from March. This is almost inevitable that these things will not be anything that I'm going to deal with. Do we have a pub sheet for this one? We do. This is a murder mystery from the folks at Soho Crime. And this is the 20th novel in the Cara Black mystery novels set in and around various locations in Paris and France. Any of you familiar with this series? It's been going on for a long, long time. And this is Murder at the Porte de Versailles. This is an Amy Leduc investigation with a very, very bookish cover. It's I wonder if the plot will be bookish. November 2001. In the wake of 9/11, Paris is living in a state of fear, with a constant terror alerts and heightened tension. For Amy Leduc, November is bittersweet. The anniversary of her father's death and her daughter's 3rd birthday fall on the same day. A gathering for family and friends is disrupted when a bomb goes off at the police laboratory, and Boris Viard, the partner of Amy's friend Michoud, is found unconscious at the scene of the crime with traces of explosive under his fingernails. She doesn't believe Boris set the bomb. In an effort to prove him not guilty, she battles the police and his own lab colleagues, collecting conflicting eyewitness reports. When a member of the French Secret Service drafts her to help investigate possible links to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and fugitive radicals who bombed Interpol in the 1980s, she uncovers ties to a cold case of her father's. As she scours the streets of Tehran-sur-Seine, trying to learn the truth, she is faced with yet another harrowing question. Should she succumb to the pressure from Chloe's biological father and move them out to his farm in Brittany? Okay, well, yeah, she's written 20 of these Amy Leduc murder mysteries. I'm a little bit conflicted about them, and in a way that I shouldn't be. I smile about it. It's not serious. I'm a little bit conflicted about them because for years and years and years at Open Letters Monthly, the online literary journal where I was the managing editor, the precursor to the current Open Letters Review. For years and years, in addition to on our monthly, we had a monthly table of contents. For years, one staple of that monthly table of contents was a mystery column by Irma Heldman. It's a Mystery was the name of the column. And Irma had led a long and storied life in New York publishing, had an imprint of her own, with her own name, a long time ago. You can find her on YouTube. You can find our gal on YouTube just holding her own with the big leather elbow patched mid-century misogynist, as Hannah puts it. And I met her a couple of times and I immediately fell in love with her, adored her, and another editor at Open Letters Monthly, Sam Sachs, also adored her. And she wrote her column in a very idiosyncratic way. There's no denying that it was an Irma column. And I used to, she was perfectly okay. She was perfectly well hooked up in the publishing world. She didn't need my help to get her review copies. But I would always I would often put in front of her things that I got that in case maybe she wanted me to send them to her. And one of the early Amy LeDuc mysteries was one of those things. I wonder if I would remember the name if I saw it. Not that I mean to tar it at all. Was it Murder in the Bastille? No, it was Murder in Montmartre. It was Murder in Montmartre. Well, whenever that came out, I sent her Murder in the Bastille. I sent her the first Amy LeDuc book. I sent her Murder in Montmartre. And after I think those three and no others, I got an email from Irma saying, please don't send me any more Cara Black mysteries. They are terrible. now, I had read Murder in the Montmartre, and I didn't think it was terrible. But God forbid was I ever going to say anything like that to Irma. I was certainly not going to. I was not going to perk up my head over the parapet and disagree with her about a murder mystery. And the reason why I'm a little conflicted here is a little bit on the bittersweet side, because of course Irma died, and although I might not, I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to tempt the wrath of the ghost of Irma by reading this thing, because I have enjoyed the two of these books that I have read, and not every author can please everybody. Right? Cara Black shouldn't take it personally. Can't please everybody. She did not please our doyen of murder mysteries, but our doyen of murder mysteries is gone. So I will give this a try. I will absolutely give this a try. Next year, though. So that is Murder at the Port de Versailles. So you've got a murder mystery set in Paris that also has strong historical elements, right? It's set 20 years ago. Then let's see here. Okay, this next one also is not just strong historical elements, it is a historical novel. This is by J.H. Galertner, and this is the second in his Captain Gray adventures. The first one was Hold Fast. I probably will have a picture of Hold Fast? No? No, I don't have anything. All right, well, this is called Captain Gray's Gambit. Fantastic cover. And you can tell by the title of the first one, Hold Fast, and also by the lower part of the cover picture that there's a great deal of Age of Sail historical fiction going on here. So let's see here. This comes out in April. December of 1803. A French invasion fleet is poised to cross the Channel and storm the beaches of southern England. One of Napoleon's top advisors, disaffected by the Corsicans' tyranny, contacts the British Naval Intelligence Service in hopes of defecting to London. His escape plan calls for a rendezvous at an international chess tournament in Frankfurt, a rare opportunity for him to travel outside of France. Naval Intelligence sends its top man and best chess player, Captain Thomas Gray, to orchestrate the advisor's escape to England. But Gray's mission changes dramatically when the defector demands that his pro-Napoleon daughter come with him, expecting Gray to act not just as escort, but kidnapper. This is the second novel in his already lauded Thomas Gray series, and it comes out in April. There you have the two characters playing chess. But I guarantee you, from what I know of the first book, which I loved, there'll be quite a bit of action and daring do. The publisher mentions James Bond, and that is part of the feeling that you'll get here, is that this is a super agent just before there was a super agency for him to be a part of. This is a great thing to look forward to if you are a fan of historical fiction, especially historical fiction in series. You might want to put this author on your radar now rather than wait until you've got 10 books to catch up on, because Hold Fast was terrific. And this comes out in April. And then the last of these new arrivals is a great big fat thing. This is by James Andrew Miller. Oh my God, look at this paperwork. Do I have anything to tell me when this comes out? Oh, this came out on November 23rd. I actually have a sheet for this. This came out on November 23rd. So it's out already in your bookstores. And this is by James Andrew Miller, and it's called Tinderbox. HBO's ruthless pursuit of new frontiers. You have all sorts of HBO luminaries all the way along the cover there. There is no denying that entertainment monolith HBO has revolutionized and transformed our relationship with television more than any network in history. There's plenty of denying that. just in case you're wondering, there's a thing called NBC, but it's certainly a strong contender. In this book, award-winning journalist James Andrew Miller uncovers a bottomless trove of secrets and surprises, revealing new conflicts, insights, and analysis. Over the course of more than 750 interviews with key sources, good Lord, that's a lot of legwork, including J.J. Abrams, Zendaya, Larry David, Lorraine Bracco, and every single living president of HBO, the author unleashes dramatic new reporting about HBO and its competitors with no holding back and no qualms about stepped-on toes. Okay, fantastic. So if you're really interested in HBO, maybe some of the things on this cover have been some of the things you really enjoyed watching. Not the Watchmen sequel, of course. No one enjoyed watching that, but lots of these other things, maybe. This is the HBO tell-all book to end all HBO tell-all books, and is out already. It's a November release, so you'll be able to request it at your bookstore or at your library. So there you go. Those are some new arrivals for you. We've got Tinderbox about HBO and its pursuit of world domination. We've got Captain Gray's Gambit, the second book in J.H. Galertner's Captain Gray novels. We have Murder at the Porte de Versailles, the latest Cara Black mystery. We have Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus, her debut novel about a breakaway star of a home chef. Takes an unconventional approach to cooking and to life. And finally, Animal Bodies by Suzanne Roberts, a series of, I would guess, probably COVID-fueled essays, COVID-inspired essays. But those are some more new releases for you. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.